Hey guys, I want to show you a new tool I got. It's pretty handy. When you're elbow deep in these greasy engines and stuff and you don't want to get your tools and stuff, your sensitive items like your lights and stuff dirty, which I need this thing. I wear this thing every day when I'm doing my jobs, especially when I'm in tight spots or greasy areas and I don't want to ruin my light. This is a motion activated, really nice bright light from Mac Tools. And I've got, you see there's a little white dot on underneath here. It's lit up. On top there's a button to turn it on regular, and there's a motion activation. And when I'm greasy and I'm in spots where I don't want to be touching my light, I just swipe it, turns on, swipe it, it turns off. Motion activated light from Mac Tools, guys. It's really handy, and it gets me through a lot of tough spots and a lot of greasy spots. Check out Mac Tools, guys. Well, the 06 town car lost the AC compressor this morning, and I'm evacuating the refrigerant right now from the system. It's unfortunate that it happened, but I have an OEM rebuilt one in the back. It's from some company out of Texas. It's a American company that rebuilds them. And I went to go turn the AC on when I went to pull out of my parking spot, and all of a sudden, and I hurried up and turned it off. And I turned it back on to get out of the car and see what happened. The sound went away when I turned it off. I get outside, and you can see it struggling. And then finally that rubber O-ring that's around the clutch face broke free from the center part, and it spins free. You can turn the clutch on. Let me show you what it looks like whenever it breaks away. So it makes it look like the compressor's turning on, but it's not. That rubber ring that attaches to the center drive through the clutch face, I could take it apart and put a new clutch on it, but I already have a new rebuilt OEM one. So what I'll do is I'll re-clutch this one and have it as a backup in case it happens, you know, down the road. But I'm gonna put a rebuilt one in there. So I pulled the belt off right now. It's just a 3/8 drive for the belt tensioner pulley. It's 3/8 drive right here. Got the belt off of it. I'm evacuating everything right now, and once it's done, I'll go ahead and pull the lines out, inspect the O-rings, and then I'll go from there. I'm just going to reuse the old O-rings because the parts is closed right now, and I'm trying to use what I got. Measure the oil that's in the old compressor and make sure that I got the right amount of oil in it. So this company is by R&Y, family owned and operated since 1989. It says, I don't know, I thought it was out of Texas, but I'm not exactly sure where it came from. It came from, actually, Florida. And it says on here with the installation instructions, this compressor comes pre-filled with the correct amount of oil, thus there is no need for any additional oil in the system. If something internal was to be wrong with the compressor, what I would do is I would do what they said here, flush the condenser, and I would go ahead and replace the dryer. The dryer is in that box right there. I'm not going to do that because there's nothing wrong internally in the system. It was just the AC clutch face went out. And then it kind of gives you some installation instructions on what to do by, you know, removing the belt, recovering the refrigerant, removing the negative cable from the battery, remove the AC connections from the compressor. Once the old compressor's off, it teaches you, you know, takes you through installing the AC compressor mounting bolts and the refrigerant lines and everything like that. I'm not gonna, I already know how to do all this. I'll basically go down real slow so you guys have it if you need it. You'll have to pause it. But this is what the new compressor looks like. And the amount of refrigerant that my vehicle takes is 23 ounces, R134A, Ford spec. refrigerant oil. Let's get it started. And it holds 7 ounces, the system does. So I'm going to get this thing up in the air, pull the bolts out of the compressor, remove the electrical connector, drop it out of the bottom, pull it from the front, install the new one, get all my bolts started. And with this compressor, you're probably going to have to pull the compressor with 1 or 2 of the bolts in and out, because it doesn't let you slide out, because it ends up hitting the side of the frame down there when you try to pull it out. So we'll get around to that here in a second. So I pulled out just right at what I was supposed to pull out. 21 ounces goes in the system, 21, 22 ounces. It pulled out 21.8, so I'm good there, because there was a little residual left in the line where the last guy that used this machine didn't take it out. It's usually about a ½ ounce to an ounce. I disabled the airbags in the trunk. I flipped the switch out before I lift it up. And now, just look. There's the AC compressor. And there's a few bolts that got to come out. There's one here, and then there's one back there. There's one right back there. So I'm going to pull those out real quick, undo that top connector first before anything, and drop that compressor out of here. I'm probably going to have to drop this sway bar link out of the way. I'm not sure if I'll be able to fit it through this hole right here. I might have to drop the sway bar out, but anyway, that's the gist of it. Let me get it out of there. Actually, I was mistaken. The dryer is right here, and it looks new. It looks like somebody's already replaced it before, so I'm not too worried about that. And it looks like it's fairly easy to change, actually, if you need to change it. A little trick that I did was I actually made myself a little access panel here last month, and you can see the top of the compressor right there. So I'm going to pull those 2 lines off through the access hole. I done forgot about it, but that's what I'm going to use. Alright, so the 2 front bolts I could not, actually the bottom one I slipped right out. This one I left in after I got it loose, and the top one I left in after I got it loose. And then I slid the compressor forward and pulled those bolts out, laid them over there. And what I did was I pulled it right here out of this hole. Right here, I just moved this hose and stuff forward and dropped it right down. You can see it's all fucked up. Shouldn't be able to do that. So now we put the new one in, reverse it, and then charge it up. Okay, she got her in, bolted up, got all the lines put back where they go, and got it plugged in. Kind of got the belt about where it needs to be. Now I'm going to lower it down and finish putting the lines in from the top. Because this stud came out with the old compressor, you see how the stud's not in there anymore? I could have got another nut and reused it, but I just grabbed it with a pair of pliers, and that's how I backed that nut off. You can see now. Here, let me make it fall. And I just took a 13 and worked it off, and I'm going to put it back on. I got one of them in already. Now I'm going to put the other one on and snug it up. Alright, I got them both in. Now I'm going to lower the car, put the belt back on, and then put the 21 ounces of refrigerant back into it and then try it out. So what I'm doing is I'm evacuating the system first. Pull it into a vacuum and monitor for any leaks. And then after, I don't know, 20-30 minutes of watching, some people go less, some people go about 15. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and charge it the full 23 ounces. I know I kept saying 21, but it's 23. So while this is in a vacuum, I just went ahead and took the liberty of removing the clutch that's on the front of this. Oh, that bearing shot too. I just wanted you guys to see how it melted the centerpiece out of the clutch housing. It's all rubber right there, it just melted everything. If this bearing wouldn't have been bad and making noise like that, but you'd probably get more use out of it if you really wanted to. You could just buy this centerpiece, which is probably 30-40 bucks for just a center clutch piece. and then you'd have to re-gap it. You'd have to keep adding spacers to this right here. You'd keep spacing it out until you got the right gapping, so when it engaged properly and it wasn't rubbing the face of the pulley all the time. But it's old, it's wore out. You can see how the metal's coming apart inside the housing here. Yeah, it's junk. This thing is no good anymore. I could put a new bearing, a new pulley and stuff on it, but by then you may as well just go get an OEM refurbished one like I got from R&Y here and just be done. Something I forgot to mention is don't pull these plastic plugs out of this AC compressor until you get everything bolted in and you're ready to put your lines back in. You really should replace the O-rings, but I've already replaced the O-rings in this when I did my exhaust manifold, so I knew they were already new. So leave these in there until it's mounted to the side of the engine and you're ready to start putting your lines on and screwing your bolts or your nuts down. Now that the vehicle's on the ground and everything's charged and you're ready to go, your belt and everything's back on, go back in the trunk, turn your airbag system back on. If you don't have an airbag system, it's not something that you have to worry about. Now we're going to start it and check the AC. Tell you it's ice cold. This thing's like ancient. It's been acting up lately. Oh yeah. It's 90 degrees outside right now. Well, earlier it was 90. It's like 70. What is it? 74 right now. So in a 90-degree day, you want that AC working. Oh yeah, we're getting down there. We're getting down there, baby. If you drop 25 degrees, you're good. If you can get it all the way down like this, where it's below freezing at the back of that, you've got yourself a cold system. All right, let's shoot it one more time at the back of the vent, all the way in the back. 27.5 is where I'm at. About 26, 27 degrees coming out. I mean, it's super, super, super cold. We good. That's what we wanted. We're fixed. Y'all, be blessed. Thanks for watching the video. Give it a thumbs up. I work hard to make these videos, and I try to bring you good content. This is Ford Tech Rich signing out. Be blessed, y'all.